We are here with Anthony Fisher of Sidewalk Traffic, the filmmaker. Congratulations, welcome.
Thanks so much. I'm delighted to be here.
We're really excited to have you. It's a great film about the filmmaking process and the ups and downs and all of the frustrating unknowns, I will say. What inspired the story of actually telling it, and how much of the connection of the inspiration, I don't want to give it away, but gosh, how do I put it gently? Maybe you can do a better job.
I mean, I can tell you that it's tremendously inspired by personal experience. It's not autobiographical. It is not like ripped from the pages of my life, but I definitely did deal with tragedy. I definitely did deal with heartbreak. I definitely did deal with backstabbing industry stuff and career frustrations. And I definitely was a stay-at-home father in post-Great Recession New York for a while. And I did definitely trying to keep the fire of my dreams going while also trying to be a productive member of my own family. So that part was definitely inspired by my own life, but I do feel like all these things are fairly universal themes. Like, people do struggle with their careers, people do struggle with depression, people may have big dreams that are illogical is in the grown-up responsible world, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm hoping resonates from the film.
Excellent. Did you also have, how do I put this? You mentioned that there was tragedy, but was there kind of a promise that came out of that made you want to tell this specific story? Was that at all?
I did have personal experience with suicide, and I did just go through a pretty desperate, despairing period after that, and I did want to try to express what that was. I did want to kind of reflect on that in a way that wasn't too maudlin, in a way that wasn't, trying to make it like kind of an after-school special issue type thing. But like I said, doing something that has a certain amount of pathos, has a certain amount of a sense of humor, even if it's a dark humor at times, because I feel like people can relate to that. I feel like, in a sense, anytime the film is inspired by my life, I try to make fun of myself in every scene. Even when things are extraordinarily sensitive, like that. But I do think that a great part of the healing process is laughing at the most horrible things.
And I really love that, even though there are definitely difficult moments in the film, nonetheless, it was always hopeful. Like, there's this thread of compassion of the family of the main character, and that never really seemed like that was going to go away, which was really lovely. And you definitely, and even through the end of the story, it ends on a hopeful, optimistic note. So congratulations on that.
Keep going. You're doing great.
I would love to know, more about, are these the types of films that you make, or have you dealt with other genres?
This is my first feature. I've done a short film. I've mostly worked in comedy before this. I had films on Sundance Channel and Comedy Central. This was definitely the first even sort of grounded in reality, slice of life type thing I've ever attempted, and probably will be the last one I ever attempt, because it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you to even watch this kind of thing again. But again, I'm happy I did it. It was the story that I wanted to tell at that time. I do think, like you said, at every turn, even when our lead character is at his most desperate, that he never really completely strays off the path, that there is a grounding force of, it's kind of like a love letter to stability, and it's kind of like a love letter to being in the moment and letting go of your past or the future that you thought you should be living, but just being there now is why I think, and I hope that it'll resonate.
So tell us how long you've been at this.
At what? Filmmaking?
Filmmaking.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I mean, like, I've been making films or videos, so to speak, since I was about 5 years old. And actually 18 years ago this weekend, I moved up here to Boston to start, film school at Emerson College. And so during those 4 years I was up here, I came to the Brattle dozens of times to watch any number of movies, highbrow, lowbrow, foreign, concert movies. So it's always been kind of like my first, love and first artistic expression. I work as a writer and a documentary journalist, so I'm still technically making films, but as far as fiction narrative films, this is the first feature and hopefully not the last. I'm still working on others.
Yeah, we definitely want to see more from you. So what is up next for you?
Well, again, I make documentary films for Reason.com. I've got a couple of screenplays in development. I'm actually taking a screenplay that I wrote a while back and kind of adapting it into a young adult novel, which I'm hoping could be readapted into a script after that. So there's no film slated for production, but there's definitely a lot of projects in the works.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. It's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing it with us, and we will definitely keep an eye out for future work from you. Congratulations.
Great. I'm so happy to be here back in Boston at the Brattle. Thanks so much for having me, Mass Indie Film Festival.